So this is a continuation from chapter 29 where Leah and Rachel are fighting it out for kids, jealousy and all that good stuff. So we're going to keep reading that. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children, she became jealous of her sister. "Give me children or I will die," she exclaimed to Jacob. Jacob flew into rage. "Am I God?" he asked. "He is the only one able to give you children." Then Rachel told him, "Sleep with her servant Bilhah, and she will bear children for me." This is, remember that story from other people? It's like families tend to do the same things over and over again and don't learn from their mistakes, So So Rachel gave Bilhah to his wife, and Jacob slept with her. And then Jacob slept with her, listening to Rachel, even though he said, "Am I God?" So he kind of just did it anyways to please his wife. Bilhah became pregnant and presented him with a son. Rachel named him Dan, for she said, "God has vindicated me." God didn't do anything, She did it on her own. "He has heard my request and given me a son." Then Bilhah became pregnant again and gave Jacob a second son. Rachel named him Naphtali, for she said, "I have an intense struggle with my sister, and I am winning." Meanwhile, Leah realized she wasn't getting pregnant anymore, so she gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob to be his wife. Soon Zilpah presented him with another son. Leah named him Gad, for she said, "How fortunate I am." Then Zilpah produced a second son, and Leah named him Asher, for she said, "What joy is mine! The other woman will consider me happy indeed." I guess Jacob was just happy to have sex, He didn't say no. He never said no. He just kept doing it, Maybe because he wanted to please Leah and Rachel. But did God want that from them? I don't know. Probably not, but one day during the wheat harvest, Reuben found some mandrakes growing in a field and brought the roots to his mother, Leah. Rachel begged Leah to give some of them to her, but Leah angrily replied, "Wasn't it enough that you stole my husband? Now you will steal my son's mandrake's roots too." Rachel said, "I will let him sleep with you tonight in exchange for the mandrake roots." So that evening, as Jacob was coming home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. "You must sleep with me tonight," she said. "I have paid for you with some mandrake roots, for my son has found." So Jacob slept with her, and God answered her prayers. She became pregnant again and gave birth to her fifth son. See, it says God answered her prayers. I don't know. That just sounds interesting to me. Maybe if you think about it, if you pray enough, God's going to be like, "You know what? I'm going to do this for you. Even though your life is going down a certain road I don't want you to go down, and you want this, I'm going to give it to you because that's what you want. But you may not like it." Maybe. I don't know what it is. She became pregnant again and gave birth to her fifth son. She named him Issachar, for she said, "God has rewarded me for giving me my servant to my husband as a wife." Then she became pregnant again and had a sixth son. She named him Zebulun, for she said, "God has given me good gifts for my husband. Now he'll honor me, for I have given him 6 sons." Later she gave birth to his daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel's plight and answered her prayers for giving her a child. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. God has removed my shame, she said, and she named him Joseph. For she said, May the Lord give me yet another son. That's a lot of kids. Okay, now we're on to Jacob's wealth increases. Soon after Joseph was born to Rachel, Jacob said to Laban, I want to go back home. Let me take my wives and children, for I have earned them from you, and let me be on my way. You know I have fully paid for them with my service to you. Please don't leave me, Laban replied, for I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because you are here. How much do I owe you? Whatever it is, I'll pay. Jacob replied, You know how faithfully I've served you through these many years, and how your flocks and herds have grown. You have little indeed before I came, and your wealth has increased enormously. The Lord has blessed you from everything I do. But now, what about me? What should I provide my own family? See, this is what confuses me about believing in God and people just doing whatever they want to do. I don't really understand that, because they're pumping out kids left and right with their servants, but yet they're still saying the Lord has blessed you, the Lord has done this. But if you think about God, and don't you think about your actions before you do things? And I know we're all human. I do crazy things sometimes, and to think about what I just said and thinking about God and stuff like that, sometimes in the back of my mind it's like, hey, we're human, things are going to happen. But I think that's a good thing to look at, is think about what God wants from you instead of thinking about what you want from you, because that's hard to do, and I get it. So and Jacob has been with Laban for a long time, and he's ready to go. Jacob replied, You know how faithfully I've served you through these many years, and how your flocks and herds have grown. You have little indeed before I came, and your wealth has increased enormously. The Lord has blessed you from everything I do. But now what about me? What should I provide? When should I provide for my own family? What wages do you want? Laban asked again. Jacob replied, Don't give me anything at all. Just do one thing, and I will go back to work for you. Let me go out among your flocks today and remove all the sheep and goats that are speckled or spotted, along with all your dark-colored sheep. Give them to me as my wages. This will make it easy for you to see whether or not I have been honest. If you find in my flock any white sheep or goats that are not speckled, you'll know that I have stolen them from you. All right, Laban replied. It will be as you have said. But that very day Laban went out and removed all the male goats that were speckled and spotted, the females that were speckled and spotted, with all the with any white patches, and all the dark-colored sheep. He placed them in care of his sons, and they took them 3 days' distance from where Jacob was. Meanwhile, Jacob stayed and cared for Laban's flocks. Now Jacob took fresh shoots from popular almond and plane trees and peeled off stripes of the bark to make white streaks on them. Then he set up those peeled branches beside the watering troughs, so Laban's flocks would see them as they came to drink. For what was then they mated. For that was then they mated. So when the flocks mated in front of the white streaked branches, all their offspring were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob added them to his own flock, thus separating the lambs from Laban's flock. Then at mating time he turned the flocks toward the streaked and dark-colored rams in Laban's flock. This is how he built his flock from Laban's. Whenever the stronger females were ready to mate, Jacob set up the peeled branches in front of them. But he didn't do this with the weaker ones, so the weaker lambs belonged to Laban, and the stronger ones were Jacob's. As a result, Jacob's flocks increased rapidly, and he became very wealthy, and many servants, camels, and with many servants, camels, and donkeys. Jacob and Laban are interesting people. It seems like they want to deceive each other. It's what I get from this. Even though they're family and they love each other, it's just how it is, you know. All right, that's the end of chapter 30. Have a good one.